All right, Dad, I'll start off. First of all, congrats, man. Safe to say that's probably one of the fight of the years in the PFL. Obviously, I know Chris is probably a hard guy to game plan for and understand what's happening in the fight. He's very unorthodox. Were you expecting that type of fight from him?
I was expecting a good fight from him, for sure. And I thought I was more ready than I was. Still came out victorious, still was able to drop him. Still was able to keep it pushing, dodge bump his punches, actual really significant hits. His little touches I wasn't worried about. I wasn't worried about him scoring those little kick points. Just worried about him actually dropping me or anything like that because, like you said, it's unorthodox. The hard punches are coming from anywhere and usually coming from those straight punches. So I was keeping my head off the line, just moving side to side a little bit more. Would have been better for me in the game plan. But I was able to adjust a little bit more to that towards the end of the fight.
And then also, I mean, this atmosphere for your fight, it felt like a main event level atmosphere.
Oh, yeah.
Being somebody from this area, having over 100 plus people here, how beneficial is that for you and how special is it for you?
I mean, I've always been a people person, so everywhere I go, I gain support, gain a good person in my life. And as you can see today, they really showed out. They showed up and they supported. So having this level of support shows how, just this early in the fight game, shows how blessed I am and how good God is. You know, shows how good God is. Truly.
And then last question for me. I know you said in your post-fight interview you don't care who's next.
No one at all.
But you're 4-0 in the PFL. You really put yourself into like this top prospect role with the organization.
Yeah.
Do you want to be in the playoffs next year?
There was a post interview I did before getting into the Challenger Series, and I said, I'm the best fighter, and I truly believe that. I'm gonna rise to occasion against anyone, and I'm gonna finish it out like I think I will. And the way I think I will win, to finish it out, is by winning the fights. And every time I go against someone, I'll be ready for them. Hopefully they're ready for me, and I'll come out victorious. So whoever they put in front of me is gonna be another addition to my victory, and my zero will stay the same.
Now, speaking of that season format, what kind of growth do you want to see in yourself before you kind of enter that season?
Understanding how to bring my wrestling more into the game. I have really good jiu-jitsu, so I wasn't scared about jiu-jitsu. Getting used to the cage and how bit unforgiving it can be when you're just wanting to blitz, because it is a bit slippery for me. But just something I have to adapt to and overcome, because it's not an excuse if I lose.
Now,
so keep going.
Last time we spoke, you said that fight kind of mirrored Naruto versus Pain.
Yeah.
Right? What would you say this fight kind of mirrors in anime?
In anime, I don't want to say any main character fight, because usually the main characters, it's back and forth battle. But I want to say, even though it was a little back and forth, I was still on the leading end of the fight. So I don't want to say any Naruto or any anime metaphors, because it means that he had a bit of a gain on me, and I don't want to give him that.
Now, what did you take from this fight that will maybe allow you to be better for next fight?
Being ready to adapt quicker. Being ready to understand that my opponents I'm going against different people from different parts of the country, the state, the world. So going against someone that I haven't seen before needs to be something I understand and know. How many of you have seen a Chris Brown type of fighter other than Chris Brown? So being able to adapt to who he is means that I can adapt to anyone, and I'm going to stay on top. So being ready for whatever comes, making a game plan if I have to, being able to adapt in the cage and stay ahead of the game.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
In that third round especially, I was just wanting your thoughts of that one, because it seemed like first 2 rounds he was trying to do his thing, but you were doing your thing. It seemed like you came out a little bit more heated in the third round.
I would say.
Was that part of just what how the fight was going, and you felt confident that you were going to have this, or no?
No.
How it was going?
I would say that I gassed myself out a bit in the first 2 rounds. And the last round, he plays possum. He stays the same way the entire time. So he wasn't really depleting, honestly. He was staying the same. And even though I was on top the first 2 rounds, someone like that, you have to stay on top of, because like we just said, he's unorthodox. So something like that, if you're not had him cardio-wise, then he's going to be really using that to his advantage, you know? Like I said, he does a little tap, 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 and that keeps him at the same pace the entire time. So even if I'm up here, he stays like this the whole time. Eventually, I'll just fall under and behind, and I don't want to be that way no more.
And mentioning the tap, 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 that was the thing too, because you had the more aggressive power strikes on him, and he was doing tap, tap, tap. But still, you felt confident that even though he landed those tap, tap, the judges were going to give it the way.
Yeah, I mean, I was landing the significant strikes. I was touching him too, you know? What he was doing, he was just tapping with his foot, just touching. I'm not playing a footsies game, you know? And when I would touch his leg, you would hear him. You would hear the smacks. You would hear the kicks. The only thing you would hear from him was his body kicks, and that was just him just slapping. But it was more me moving out of the way, me ducking, me bobbing, me weaving, me countering, doing what I had to do to stay on top. So, like I said, I moved more, but he tapped. But I'm not afraid of no taps. It's a fight game.
And last one for me, what is it like? Because there's a lot of great fighters in this area, in South Florida. And you standing out tonight and doing your thing here.
And I think that's the best fighters come out of Florida. The best fighters from all around the world. Where do they come? They come down here to train. So me being born and raised here, training my whole life, well, since I started mixed martial arts, I stay on top. I stay ahead. There's playing catch up coming down here. We're leading the game, the ball game, leading the dance, I should say.
With your popularity with this home crowd, any concern? A lot of these folks are going to leave now because you fought so early in the show.
Good for that. I don't care. They should have put me.
Should they make you fight later?
Exactly. Last fight they put me first round knockout. First round knockout. First couple of minutes in the round was a knockout. Last 2 fights. So you want it to be a crowd that stays the whole time? Don't put me in the beginning. Don't put me in the prelims. Put me on the main card. Soon enough, I'll be headlining the whole thing. You know? So my fan base will grow. My support system will grow. It's only my 8th fight now since turning pro. I don't have the biggest following on social media, but the following that I do have is a solid foundation. So they're real followers, they're real fans, and they're real supporters. So I'm grateful to them.
I like how you realize the unorthodox fight of Chris Brown. So what's next as far as you to prepare yourself for someone like that in the future again, because of the combination that he had with the tap, 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 and how would you combat those kind of actions?
Like I said, I'm not worried about the taps.
Yeah.
I want to be ready to finish it out when I should have in the first round. When I dropped him in the first round. I got a little bit too, that home crowd screaming, wanting a flashy finish. Flying knee. Who doesn't want a flying knee? That's not me. I mean, it could be me. But I should have just knocked him out. Standing up, striking, bam, bam, bam. Waiting for him to bounce back, slip, throw an uppercut like I usually do. But I was fed into that little home crowd, cheering a little bit too much and wanting to flash it in, and that was stupid. But now I know better.
PFL has some big cards coming up that year.
Yeah.
Is there a card you'd like to be on?
October 19th, Saudi Arabia, Princess Ngannou versus Renan something. Forgive me. But I'd love to be on that card. I'd love to be on the title, the championship card. Put me on either of those 2 cards, but if you're going to ask me, October 19th, put me there. Well, my brother's getting married in October. I have to see when that is, family first. But put me, I'll come back to that.
If the wedding's the same day as that fight,
I'm going to the wedding. My brother's been since I was born. I'm not gonna help. No offense to PFL, more than I help support my brother with his big life situation.
Family over everything.
God over first.
You can grab the wedding over there.
Oh, let's do it. Hey, let's do that. You know, if I could get them to get over there and do a wedding, first round knockout, get a little bit of prize money, that'll be a nice little wedding gift right there. You know, so. Family first, but if not, then October 19th card.
Dad, congrats on the victory and keeping your undefeated streak going.
Thank you, brother.
You had double the strike lands than your opponent. I think 66 to 33, something like that. So pretty significant. You got the takedown. You talked about where you might be able to improve a bit would be in your wrestling. So you need to work on the takedown defense or just the takedown, period?
No. I think my wrestling is good. My wrestling isn't something that's not good, but my wrestling needs to be more of what my striking is in this game. It needs to be just as good, just as dangerous, just as fearsome, you know? So adding and incorporating more wrestling into my game so people don't think, oh, he's just a striker, will make me that much more of a fearsome fighter. So improving and working my takedowns more is what I want to do in my next fight, for sure. All good? Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Dad. Appreciate it.